What is it, baby?
Skin, torn clean off a leg, sliding hard into home plate. No stunt double standing by. No one called cut. The blood was real, the scrape was real, and the crew just kept rolling because that was a normal Tuesday on this set. A League of Their Own looked like a feel-good summer comedy about girls in peach-colored skirts sliding across a sunlit diamond in 1943. Underneath it was one of the messiest, most accident-prone productions of its decade, built on walkouts, broken bones, and a piece of history almost nobody involved was ever supposed to remember at all. And the one woman whose real life sparked the entire story wouldn't live long enough to see just how far it would travel. Number 16. Deborah Winger trained for 3 months with the Chicago Cubs organization to play Dottie Hinson. She learned to throw, slide, and hit like a professional, building exactly the kind of physical credibility the role demanded. Then, weeks before filming was set to begin, she heard who her co-star would be. Madonna had landed the role of Mae Mortabito, and Winger decided the entire project had turned into what she called an Elvis movie. She walked away from the film completely. Her contract still guaranteed her the full payment regardless. She never played a single inning on screen, and she cashed the check anyway. Number 15. Tom Hanks couldn't find Jimmy Dugan on the page. The bitterness was there, but not the reason for it, and the script never explained why the character had given up so completely on himself. So Hanks invented the reason privately, on his own: a wrecked knee. A foolish late-night injury climbing out of a woman's window he had no business being near. None of it was ever written into a single line of dialogue. All of it shaped every scene he's in. Number 14. None of the women in this film had stunt doubles standing by. Every dive, every collision, every hard slide into a base was performed by the actress herself, over and over, take after take. Geena Davis said years later that some of the cast came away from filming with skin torn straight off their legs from sliding into bases on dirt and gravel. The bruises the camera lingers on throughout the movie were never applied by a makeup artist. They were simply the job. Number 13. Anne Ramsey was mid-play, glove raised for what should have been a routine catch, when the baseball glanced off the leather and caught her square in the face. Her nose broke on camera, in real time, with the cameras still rolling and nobody calling a stop to check on her first. She got back up on her own, wiped her face, and finished the scene anyway. Number 12. The short fitted skirts weren't a costume choice dreamed up by a production designer for the movie. The real league required them on the field, every single game, fully aware of exactly what a hard slide would do to bare skin scraping against dirt. Players had their own name for the wounds it left behind. They called them strawberries, and they wore them constantly. The league watched the damage pile up for years and never once changed the rule. Number 11. Grown. Professional athletes were sent to evening classes on posture, table manners, and proper makeup application after full days of practice. Chaperones tracked their movements even when they were off the field entirely, monitoring who they spoke to and where they went. Fines were handed out for anything the league decided counted as unladylike behavior. When the filmmakers put Charm School on screen purely for laughs, they weren't inventing a joke out of thin air. They were copying a real rule book almost word for word. Number 10. During a farm scene between John Lovitz and the film's 2 young leads, a cow standing just off camera quietly went into labor mid-take. Lovitz never noticed a single thing happening behind him. He was too deep in character, snapping at the noise to keep quiet, completely unaware that a calf was being born only a few feet away. The newborn got a name anyway once the scene wrapped. The crew called her Penny, after the film's director. Number 9. There's No Crying in Baseball almost didn't survive its own table read. On the page, sitting flat among a script full of other jokes, nobody in the room thought much of it at all. Then, during the actual filming of the scene, Bitty Schramm burst into real, unplanned tears in the middle of the take, and Tom Hanks simply ran with it. The line the entire world still quotes decades later was one uncalculated, unrepeated moment that nobody involved had ever actually planned to keep. Every story so far happened on a set that almost fell apart before a single frame was shot. What comes next is not about the production at all. It's about why the story existed to be told in the first place. One quiet evening, a director with a hit comedy already behind her sat down, turned on her television, and stumbled onto a piece of American history nobody had ever once bothered to teach her. Number 8. Penny Marshall came across a 1987 public television documentary about a real professional women's baseball league that had operated during World War II. A lifelong fan of the game who had grown up around it her whole life, she had never once heard that this league had actually existed. That single broadcast, caught almost entirely by accident, is the whole reason this movie was ever made in the first place. Number 7. The documentary that started everything was made by a man named Kelly Candale about his own mother. Helen Callahan and her older sister Margaret became the first sisters ever to play together in the league, recruited straight off a softball field in Vancouver in 1944. The sibling rivalry sitting at the emotional center of this movie didn't come out of a screenwriter's imagination at all. It came directly out of Candale's own family history. Number 6. Dottie Hinson has a real-life counterpart. Dorothy Kamenchek played 10 full seasons in the league, finished with a career batting average of .292, and was once called the finest fielding first baseman a major league scout had ever personally watched, man or woman. She was even invited to try out for a men's professional team, a level of respect almost no woman in baseball had been offered before or since. She turned the offer down without hesitation and stayed with the league that had made her a star in the first place. Number 5. For the film's closing scene at the Baseball Hall of Fame, the production didn't bring in extras to fill out the crowd. Dozens of real AAGPBL veterans, by then well into their 70s, walked through the very same halls where their own careers were finally being honored on a national stage after decades of being left out of the history books. The fictional Rockford Peaches stood shoulder to shoulder with the actual women who had lived every bit of it. 2 decades later, the film itself would join them in the record books, added to the Library of Congress's National Film Registry as permanently worth preserving. Number 4. Every major studio passed on this movie, including Fox, the studio that owed Penny Marshall a hit after Big. A period film about women's baseball just didn't look like a sure thing to anyone with a checkbook. Columbia picked it up almost by default, on a budget nobody expected much from. It went on to cross $100 million at the box office, the first film ever directed by a woman to hit that number, on the exact project every other studio in town had already decided to walk away from. Number 3. Halfway through the movie, a stray ball rolls into the crowd. Dottie calls for it back, and a black woman sitting in the stadium's segregated section fires it in so hard it stings the catcher's hand, then simply turns and walks away. No line of dialogue, 15 seconds of screen time, one silent acknowledgement of who the real league never let onto that field. Screenwriter Lowell Gans later called it deliberate, the closest the filmmakers could come to admitting the real AAGPBL was whites only. Most people watching the film have never once noticed it's there. Number 2. Did Dottie drop the ball on purpose at home plate, letting her own sister win the championship in front of everyone? Lori Petty has said flatly, publicly, no. Geena Davis has said she knows the real answer and has refused to reveal it to a single interviewer for over 30 straight years. The 2 women who actually lived that moment will not hand the audience the ending it so badly wants. Number 1. Helen Callahan lived long enough to see the movie inspired by her own life fill theaters across the entire country that summer. She saw it. She said it got it right. 5 months later, breast cancer took her, at 69 years old. The miracle isn't that Hollywood finally told her story, it's that Hollywood almost never did.